Good morning. And welcome to the Unitarian Church of Evanston. I'm Annette Wallace, and I'm your worship associate for this morning. Whether this is your spiritual home or you are newly discovering this community, it is good to share this time together. We strive to be an inclusive and welcoming community, seeking truth in love and nurturing the human spirit for a world made whole. We are guided by our principles and values, which remind us in every moment and through every challenge that each of us is worthy of love and that we are all connected through the vast and beautiful web of existence. I once heard a kid call that the spider of life. We come together to remember our kinship with one another and to hold one another in heart and mind with tenderness and careful attention. If you are joining us online, hi. There are many links to connection in the description below the YouTube live stream, including the order of service credits, ways to support our mission, and how to join our email newsletter list. If you are in the sanctuary, we encourage you to use the QR code for the digital order of service or to take one of the large print orders of service. Both are located on the table in the lobby. Hymnals are available right outside the sanctuary doors. We also have an inductive loop system for anyone wearing a hearing aid that is equipped with a T-coil. Your hearing aid should automatically connect if you enable the T-coil feature. Excuse me. For those who do not have a T-coil enabled hearing aid, we have receivers that you can pick up the loop signal and you can listen through earphones. They are both located on the table in the lobby. Sorry. Here are a few announcements. After the service, please visit the Emissions Reduction Task Force's program table located at the back of the sanctuary to sign up to be on the planning group that meets monthly or to sign up to be someone who wants to help implement specific tasks as the task service identifies and organizes what is needed. Our annual plant swap is May 14th from 2:30 to 4:30 in the parking lot. Bring something you have and leave with something you want to grow. Please see Doug Erickson at a program table at the back of the sanctuary after the worship service for more information. This month, the Giving House donations are canned fish. That's tuna, that's sardines, anything, canned fish. And the rummage sale is here. Donation drop-off begins today at 1 o'clock and goes until 8 p.m. tonight. If you can, please stay after the service today to help out. Donation drop-off continues next week, Monday, May 8th from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Then sorting and pricing goes on all next week, Tuesday through Thursday. The big day arrives on Friday, May 12th, with the sale running from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and continuing through Saturday, May 13th, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. But you want to get there early on Friday because stuff goes. It's such a great sale. A special request, though. Cafe Rummage, or Ramage, is in need of more baked goods. So contact Meredith Hayden for more information. We've got a parachute, we've got a beanbag toss, we've got bingo, and lots more. Join the fun and volunteer to help organize games for children and adults at our annual picnic on Sunday, June 4th. The Congregational Connections team invites you to sign up today for half-hour shifts during the picnic. There will be a sign-up table at the rear of the sanctuary. Everything is going on at the rear of the sanctuary. In the cafe area after the service, yo-yos will be available just in case you want to show off your skills. And now, let us settle into our shared time of reflection, celebration, and inspiration. As we begin our worship service, those joining us online are invited to gather your chalice as we join in beloved community. Welcome to worship.
Before we begin our introit, I wanted to share with you that one of our members, Alicia Hempfling, was the top bidder at our church auction for the chance to select pieces for Gregory to play in service. We are blessed and fortunate today to hear pieces today that Alicia herself created on a Sunday when we are lifting up the theme of creativity. Alicia shares this about her compositions. As a stay-at-home mom 30 years ago, I had the opportunity to sing and play music for our 2 young boys. They were partly my inspiration to compose these pieces, since they were so enthralled with the wonders of the universe through books we read. Ecliptic, our introit, was composed and completed after the solar eclipse that took place in the early 90s. Mountainscape, our anthem today, was an answer to the feelings I had for the vastness and the miracles of nature. Sadly, though, I had not seriously practiced or played the piano since then. Life sometimes has a way of diverting our attention away from things we love to do. This is why I'm so pleased to have Gregory play these compositions. I'm so grateful that he can bring these pieces to life once again. Also, I'd like to thank my dear friend Susan Kua for transcribing all of my pieces into sheet music. Let us open our hearts to the music.
The Unitarian Church of Evanston resides on land that was recorded as being transferred from the local Potawatomi community to the U.S. government in 1829, before the Potawatomi were forcefully removed west of the Mississippi. This land was then sold to white settlers. We remember the minds and bodies of the Black people who built up our country's culture and economy, a role forced on them originally by enslavement. We are indebted to their labor and their sacrifice since 1619, acknowledging the tremors of violence throughout the generations and the resulting impact that can still be witnessed today. These acknowledgments are one small effort toward building long-term solidarity with contemporary communities. We commit ourselves to take what we learn here today and incorporate it into our lives and turn our thoughts into actions. To learn more about our congregation's land and labor acknowledgments, please visit our website. Please join in these words of communal affirmation. We name these realities with honor for all the ancestors, respect for our descendants, and gratitude for the land we use as sacred space. Trudy Davis brought the flowers today, and as she lights our chalice, symbol of our living traditions, please join in the responsive reading on the screen. There is a vitality, a life force, a quickening that is translated through you into action. And there is only one of you all time. This expression is unique, and if you block it, it will never exist through any other medium and be lost. The world will not have it. It is not your business to determine how good it is, not how it compares with other expression. It is your business to keep it yours clearly and directly, to keep the channel open. You have to keep open and aware directly to the urges that motivate you. Keep the channel open. No artist is pleased. There is no satisfaction whatsoever at any time. There is only a queer, divine dissatisfaction, a blessed unrest that keeps us moving and makes us more alive than the others. Please rise in body or spirit and join in saying the words of our covenant. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to go out together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Before we sing our opening hymn, let's turn to one another briefly to say good morning. And for those of you participating from home, greet each other in the chat.
Good morning. What a beautiful day, huh? Sure. Today's time for all ages is the storybook Ish by Peter H. Reynolds. And if you feel so inspired to say ish every once in a while, well, by all means, you can. Ish. No, we don't want you to shh, we want you to ish. Anyway, all right. Ramon loved to draw. Anytime, anything, anywhere. How many of you do that? Come on. Yeah. One day, Ramon was drawing a vase of flowers. His brother Leon leaned over his shoulder. Leon burst out laughing. "What is that?" he asked. Ramon could not even answer. He just crumpled up his drawing and threw it across the room. Leon's laughter haunted Ramon. He kept trying to make his drawings look right, but they never did. After many months and many crumpled sheets of paper, Ramon put his pencil down. "I'm done." Marisol, his sister, was watching him. "What do you want?" he snapped. "I was watching you draw," she said. Ramon sneered. "I'm not drawing. Go away." Marisol ran away, but not before picking up a crumpled sheet of paper. "Hey, come back here with that." Ramon raced after Marisol up the hall and into her room. He was about to yell, but fell silent when he saw his sister's walls. He stared at the crumpled gallery. "This is one of my favorites," Marisol said, pointing. "That was supposed to be a vase of flowers," Ramon said. "But it doesn't look like one." "Well, it looks vase-ish." Ish, you got it. Vase-ish? Ramon looked closer. Then he studied all the drawings on Marisol's walls and began to see them in a whole new way. "They do look ish," he said. Ramon felt light and energized. Thinking ishly allowed his ideas to flow freely. He began to draw what he felt loose lines, quickly springing out without worry. Ramon once again drew and drew the world around him. Making an ish drawing felt wonderful. He filled his journals. Tree-ish, house-ish, boat-ish, yeah, afternoon-ish, fish-ish, sun-ish. You get it. Ramon realized he could draw his ish feelings too. Peace-ish, yeah, silly-ish, excited-ish. His ish art inspired ish writing. He wasn't sure if he was writing poems, but he knew they were poem-ish. Ponder. Pond, ponder, dream yonder, pond, pond, yond pond, gleam, wander. One spring morning, Ramon had a wonderful feeling. It was a feeling that even his ish words and ish drawings could not capture. He decided not to capture it. Instead, he simply savored it. And Ramon lived ishfully ever after.
Now we enter into this time, into this circle of love and hope. A time of quiet reflection as we share our joys and sorrows as part of the practice of beloved community. If you do have a joy or a sorrow you want spoken aloud, you may write it in this Joys and Sorrows book that, as you enter, is in the back of the sanctuary, and submit it also through a Google form found on the homepage of our website, or you can email the team of ministers. We listen to these offerings with tenderness and respect, and so let's quiet our bodies and voices during this sacred time. So let's try it now by breathing in together. And breathing out. Come here. He can come. Just release him. Let's breathe in one more time together. Breathe in. These are the joys and sorrows that have been shared before our service today. From Margaret and Charlie Pekarik, their son-in-law's aunt and the godmother of their granddaughter died this week at the age of 74. Marie Donna Roy was a constant in Margaret and Charlie's life since their son-in-law joined their family, and she will be missed. And a joy to share. This week, Reverend Susan received approval from the UUA's Ministerial Fellowship Committee of her second renewal of her preliminary fellowship status. And just so you know, after 3 renewals are approved, a minister transitions from preliminary fellowship status to full fellowship status. So we celebrate and we join the members of Reverend Susan's Committee on Ministry in celebrating that she's 2/3 of the way there. Nice indeed. And offered from our book of joys and sorrows, from, I believe I'm reading this correctly, from Hannah Hirsch. A joy, I'm like Gregory's piano, 88. My birthday was Cinco de Mayo. Happy birthday. Harry? Okay. There you are. It's Harry, y'all. Harry. Oh, and for those of you on Zoom, if you didn't see, Harry stood up and there was a lot of cheering because of that. Joy. The sweet aroma of lilacs as we walk up the sidewalk to church today, from Diane Markell. And our thoughts, prayers, sorrow, and outrage at the latest Texas mass shootings. We must change this, and we will, writes Kristen Lems. And from Jennifer Crosby, we're relieved and grateful that a friend of ours will be meeting JC off the bus after school on Wednesday, so we won't have to take him to John's surgical consult appointment. We ask for good juju that at the appointment, they'll get John in and complete the first surgery in step of 3 to stop future pneumonias. In other good news, we found out we've been doing his tube feeds wrong for 4 years. We're hoping that now he'll finally gain weight. Fingers crossed this will finally fix that problem. Sending lots of good and energy to that as well. This sacred space for our tender offerings is part of the practice of beloved community. Together we expand our celebrations, but we also hold ourselves in community in lessening the burden of our grief. During the music meditation, you're invited to come forward or to the sides to light a candle for a joy or a sorrow or a milestone in your life. And if you'd like the candle brought to you, please raise your hand. For these joys we give our thanks. For these sorrows we give our love. And will you join me in the spirit of prayer and meditation? Let us take a breath together and exhale. Creative love, our thanks we give for this day. The sudden warmth that greets us, the sunshine, the blooms of cherry and plum, the daffodils greeting us with their sunny disposition. In the bright, blooming energy of this time, please ground us. Let us notice those places where we are held up by the earth, this planet. May we notice the places where we are tethered by the force of gravity, grounded, rooted where we are. Let us take in the expansiveness of sky, allowing our bodies to expand in all directions as we breathe deeply in and out. Noticing not only the fronts of our bodies, but the side, the back, taking in all there is to take in from every direction. Bathing ourselves in the warmth of spring and what summer can offer. As we center ourselves in these times, let us take a moment of quiet to pay attention to what we bring to this time that is uniquely our own to reflect upon in the quiet corners of our minds and hearts. Take 3 breaths. 1. 2. 3. Source of creativity, be with us as we take in every moment, staying present and ever present to what is possible in our minds, bodies, and hearts. Blessed be. Amen. As we sing our response, our young people, kindergarten through 8th grade, are invited to head to their faith formation time with their adult leaders. Let us join in singing, "Comfort Me." Comfort me, and then verse 2, sing. Verse 4, dance.
As we say in our covenant each Sunday, service is our law. UCE is called by our mission, values, and principles to contribute to our community, to form accountable partnerships, and to express gratitude through giving. Today's offering will be shared with the Neurodiversity Foundation. I invite Margaret Shackley up to tell us about how this organization enlivens our religious values.
Last week, you heard our young people talking with us about what neurodiverse people might need to feel included in our community designed by neurotypical people. That conversation began with the Neurodiversity Foundation. At the recommendation of our youth, we share our offering this month with them. Founded in 2016, they're among the oldest voices advocating for autistic folks. The foundation is managed by autistic folks who mentor neurodiverse people to build on their strengths and develop workarounds as they fit their square peg into the round holes of our neurotypical culture. The foundation also educates our corporate and commercial world to widen their lens to tap the potential offered by neurodiverse folks. Ultimately, they call us all to widen our lens to see who we are as a human community. Thank you for being generous.
You may text to give, mail in a check, or give from our website. If you write a check, please indicate in the memo line if your check is for the shared offering or some other giving. Now the ushers will now come forward to pass the collection bowls down the rows. And please give as generously as you are able, and may what you give bring you joy. Invariably, I wasn't looking at my program. I'm just like, enjoying the show. This is Earthseed by Octavia Butler. African-American science fiction writer. Whoa. Here we are. Energy, mass, life, shaping life, mind, shaping mind, God, shaping God. Consider, we are born not with purpose, but with potential. All that you touch, you change. All that you change changes you. The only lasting truth is change. God is change.
The only lasting truth is change. Thus spake the prophet Octavia Butler. If you haven't read her work, please check it out. She is the mother of Afrofuturism and has inspired so many beautiful authors and artists in their own grounded and visionary work. I always felt attached to that idea that God is change, and had a sense of that awareness since I was a young girl. I remember having a moment, and it's strangely vulnerable to share, where I was probably 6 or 7, because I know what house I was in at the time, and I was staring into the mirror. I don't know if y'all ever did this or still do, but you stare at yourself in the mirror long enough that the edges around your body start to blur. And in that moment, as my eyes started to water from staring for so long, I felt like I was no longer just looking back at myself. I suddenly knew that I was part of something larger. I felt the rush of my ancestors behind me, not just human, but that I was part of a greater story. All of this in one staring contest with my 7-year-old self. But in that moment, I felt a sense of an oceanic feeling of connection with all that is, was, and ever shall be. A feeling of time outside of time, what some Christian mystics called the kairos time, God's time. But that feeling of contemplation was something that I knew that I wanted to keep having in my life in some kind of way. This awareness that I was part of something larger, and to find myself in Unitarian Universalist congregations since the age of 2 has helped nurture that sense of wonder and mystery in the world, for which I am so grateful. And then going to school and having the opportunity and the absolute privilege of not having to have a job while I went to college, so I got to be and learn how to be an actor and understanding what that meant. And y'all know I'm not an actor now, but something happened that was fine with all of that. But what I learned from that time was that even when I was studying a play or studying a role or a part, suddenly I would move through the world differently. I was attuned differently to everything around me that could be woven into the work, to the art. The channel was open. And did I mention that I didn't really have many responsibilities? Why is it that it has to be a privilege that we can keep our channels open? Because unfortunately, we are in a culture that stifles creativity. There is oppression all around us and deathly culture that would define us by the standards of what we can afford, what we can buy, what we can consume, and operate under the illusion of control when we really don't have any. And that shuts down creativity. It creates a survival scarcity mode in every human being, some of which is real and some of which is conditioned by the culture around us. And so the prophets and the artists and the poets remind us that there's more to connect, there's more love, there's more joy, there's more hope. And that we are part of a bigger story, one that some people call the great story. One in which human beings are just, folks, y'all, we're only 200,000 years in on this cosmic unfolding of the universe that happened around 13.8 billion years ago, that some people have come to call the Great Radiance, when things all began. And that we human beings, only 200,000 years in, are actually, as far as we know, which we don't know much, that we are the first time that we're the universe made conscious of itself, this self-reflexive part of the universe, that each of us have in us a sense of maybe not purpose, but potential, as Butler reminds us. And in that moment when I was 7, I knew I was part of something larger, but I also knew that I, as the Universalist confession in Winchester sometime in the 19th century said, I was a human of supreme worth and dignity. Do you know that's where our first principle came from? The Universalists' confession of faith. And at the same time, I knew I was also a speck. My edges blurred. There was some ish to my importance. Ish. So we have the opportunity as Unitarian Universalists to engage in the creative process of exploring our own inner lives, whatever that means for each of us, right? We draw from many different sources. wisdom, inspiration can be all around us at any moment, to be captured into a composition, to be captured into textile art, paper cutting art, to be captured into an intentional moment to choose love when in conflict with someone else. It's all an art. And we can thrive in that art and embrace the process-oriented piece of art. In fact, that's what the theater training taught me. It taught me to love the process. The stage was just sort of an aftermath unfolding of the juiciest part of all, the rehearsals, the trying, the difficulty, the push, the pull, the generative tension of rehearsal and process. And as Unitarian Universalists, we embrace process, right? We know that how we do things is as important as what we do. And I'm echoing the words of your board president, Carla Williams, who reflected a few weeks ago. The European mystic, Catherine of Siena, once said, "The way to heaven is heaven." And so that sense of process, of embracing that at any moment, glimpses of inspiration, of feelings of interdependence and interconnection can be with us, and that is an ongoing creative journey that we call life. It was Kenneth Patton, the late white Unitarian minister, who reminds us that this is the workshop of our dreams. But it wasn't just about this was being life. It was also that this was congregational life, of being in community. So let's think about Ramon. Ramon, with his understanding and coming to embrace the ish of his work. Who was it? He needed someone else to show that to him, to show that sense of appreciation. Who was it? His sister Marisol. So she shared that with him. And I will tell you that being in congregational life, sometimes we can forget how important it is that we participate and show up. And I know there are so many ways that we're showing up, right? It's not just about being in person in the sanctuary. It's about showing up in each other's lives because we matter to one another. You never know what that one moment that you have with that person on the online chat or in coffee hour, what it could mean to someone. And you may have that moment where it's happened to you, where someone circles back and says, I need you to know how much it meant that you showed up, that you sent me that note. That is a creative way of being in the world, of understanding that we don't just create this inner life all by ourselves, we do it together. We create community together, and we move towards this creative vision of beloved community. And that vision might, as we learn more, be changing, because we are always having to shift and change and be in process. And so this communal life gives us a glimpse of the way to heaven. Now, I'll also mention that sometimes, have you ever heard that expression about hell, the road to hell being paved with good intentions? We've talked a lot over the years, I think, in Unitarian Universalist circles about how we want to be together and those values and covenant and how we make promises about how we want to be together. And that it's important not to just have good intentions, but to do the work we need to do. And I'll name it for myself. Let me do the work I need to do. To not just live in the world of good intentions, but also know the impact of my actions and the impact of how I am living in the world. And this congregation provides creative inspiration of ways to do that, to create pockets of beauty, of joy, of resistance. I heard there's a prom coming up with the Rainbow Alliance. If you don't know about this, get yourself on the email, the weekly email, because that looks like it's going to be fun. I can't wait to see what people create together. So here we are, in this beautiful space, each with our own potential, joining it together, joining our power together in this world that is ever changing. May we embrace and thrive on the spirit of creativity to bring more love, hope, and joy in the world. May it be so. Amen.
That was good. As we extinguish the chalice, please join in saying the words on the screen by the Reverend Elizabeth Sell-Jones. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Please rise in body or spirit and join in singing our closing hymn, Be Ours a Religion.
Beloveds, go forth from this place, living creatively with joy, hope, love, and peace in your hearts. Know that all around you, the world is ever-changing and a dynamic flow, and that we have potential to be that love in this universe. Blessed be. Go in peace.